Hey, what's up guys, Shadow Steel here. Welcome back to Railworks Sundays. So, just a couple days ago, it was the 88th anniversary of the wreck of the Denver Rio Grande Western number 346. And I decided, for better or for worse, I guess you could say, to take a trip down the original route of the Colorado and Southern Railroad, which is where the 346 actually ended up derailing from. So we are going to take a trip on the Colorado and Southern to Central City with a passenger train today. And we're going to try our best to actually make, I don't have high hopes to get on time, but, it's something. Put some fire in the, coal in the fire, coal in the hole, as one would say. Go. Get there. Change the position here. Alright, brakes. Throttle forward, or reverser forward. With that fire forward, but okay. Alright, load up everybody, get in there. We're going to be taking the train to Central City. We don't have a lot of coal, obviously. There he goes. Off on his adventure. So we were arriving there at 01 and we kind of got there on time. Not too much. Got a bonus this time. We got the full points. Alright, we're off to Central City. Let's go. Full record. Let's go. Oh, we're on local number 65. I didn't even notice that. Alright, off we go. Just the throttle here. Alright, we're off. So, of course, we have to talk a little bit about 346 and her little disaster on Kenosha Pass. 346 is a C19-280 locomotive, which of course is a pretty significant it's the same wheel arrangement as the locomotive we're operating here, but she was built in 1881 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works as a Class 70, which we've seen before. Thanks to games like Railroads Online, because we've seen the Class 70, which is the early version of the C19. Class 70s were a little smaller. Well, they were basically the early versions of the C19. So the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad, which is the railroad that operated the C19, the Class 70s. Prior to them reclassifying to the C19s. Whoops, there we go again. The C19, the locomotives were your standard 280s. Not like the B4s here that we have that we're operating today. But well, wow, I'm racing up the hill here. Jesus Christ. But these locomotives the 280s were more designed for freight service early on. They were not designed for heavy, big passenger trains. So the Class 70s and later the C19s, they were more or less designed for branch line freight service, I guess you could say. Now 346 in particular was leased out to the Colorado Southern Railroad sometime in the 1930s. Specifically, the date of the wreck is 1936. But she had been on lease to the Colorado and Southern for a while before that. And the Colorado Southern, whoops, I'm speeding again. God damn it. Holy crap, man. I'm not going to keep, just murdered my points to 71 negative, so, whatever. It doesn't matter. I want to get on time here. But the Colorado and Southern was kind of short on power. They were not exactly the best railroad operator for the most part in terms of just like how they were running. Because again, like you're dealing with like the Georgetown Loop. They are famous for the Georgetown Loop. So their locomotives are probably the most iconic in terms of the Georgetown Loop. They actually operated the rail line was built by the Denver South Park and Pacific Railroad originally, which eventually was bought by the Union Pacific Railroad of all things. And that's the interesting thing about the Colorado Southern. The Colorado Southern was bought by the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy later on, or was a subsidiary of the railroad. I don't know which one it was exactly. But the Colorado and Southern is actually a now predecessor railroad of the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad, or BNSF, or the SNF, as some people call it. I've heard that name. I've heard many names of BNSF, honestly. But yeah, it's a predecessor railroad of the BNSF. Well, the railroad that predated the Colorado Southern was the Denver South Park and Pacific Railroad, which was later absorbed into the Union Pacific Railroad, which is very interesting. So that means that the trackage here is technically also formerly owned by the Union Pacific for a while. Now, I'm pretty sure that the Denver South Park and Pacific was eventually sold off from the Union Pacific and kind of like just torn up and whatnot, and the Colorado Southern kind of took over from there. But an interesting tidbit about the Denver South Park and Pacific Railroad and the Colorado Southern is that one of the locomotives from the fleet does survive alongside and is basically on display alongside 346 in the same museum, the Colorado Railroad Museum. Denver South Park and Pacific number 191, not 119. 119 is a different locomotive, which I will probably do a video on eventually because we're getting close to that celebration too. But 191 is on display at the Colorado Railroad Museum, which is a Denver South Park and Pacific 280. And that to me was very interesting because I didn't think. Oh fuck, my boiler! I am almost completely out of water here. I didn't even check that. But yeah, the locomotives in particular were like, so two of the Colorado Southern has a few things left behind. Not very many, but a few things. And today we are like the whole operation is rather interesting because none of the Colorado Southern's trackage or narrow gauge trackage survives anymore. It was all ripped up after the railroad went bankrupt. Well, yeah, it went bankrupt for the most part. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, and keep in mind, never, and I mean never quote me on the history on any of these railroads, because I'm not a historian, I'm not a historical channel, so never really use me as a reference if you want to do historical railroad stuff, because I'm not the guy for that. But yeah, the Colorado Southern, the narrow gauge portion was ripped up sometime in the 1940s, kind of around the same time that the Denver Rio Grande Western was getting ready to tear up its railroads, actually. In fact, the 3-foot narrow gauge operations of the Colorado days were kind of ending by the 1950s. Today, only a handful of portions of the Colorado narrow gauge even exist. the original Colorado. Only two portions of the only two portions of the original Colorado narrow gauge network even survive, and that's the Cumbres and Toltec and the Denver, Durango, and Silverton railroads, respectively. Interestingly enough, the Georgetown Loop, which often people say like, oh, that's the Colorado Southern portion of the rail line. That's not actually the original Georgetown Loop. The original Georgetown Loop was actually torn down sometime in the 1950s, of course, and an interstate highway was built over top of the original alignment. So you could, in theory, go to the Georgetown Loop tourist railroad that's around it still, but it's not the original alignment, or at least not as much. Like they tried to get as much of the original alignment as possible, but instead they actually went ahead and just basically rebuilt the entire line from the ground up in the 1980s, which is really cool. You got to admit that's one of those things that was like really impressive at the time, because the Georgetown Loop was a modern marvel even back in the 1800s when it was built. And lo and behold, it's still kind of one of the more interesting tourist operations to this day. The Georgetown Loop in particular is a really interesting railroad, and I would love to hear more of the history of that myself, like how it kind of weirdly operated it is. But yeah, the 346 operated over the Colorado Southern, specifically over Kenosha Pass. Now, I'm not sure if that rail line is represented in the Clear Creek narrow gauge rail route on the game. The Kenosha Pass, there was a particular segment that she derailed on, which was a sudden kind of S-bend, if you will, where the rail kind of turned around at a rapid rate and whipped around a little bit back and forth, and the train just was going 40 miles an hour because the engineer at the time was claimed to be drunk. I don't know if the ICC report does say that the engineer was drunk or something like that, or intoxicated in some way. But again, that's one of those things where the history of it's kind of been lost to time. The Colorado Railroad Museum does have some information about this disaster as well, and there's some stuff you can look up about the wreck of 346. Because of that particular wreck that 346 ended up surviving the scrap report. Keep in mind, she was an 1881 built steam locomotive from Baldwin Locomotive Works. By 1936, when she derailed and was wrecked, there was a good chance that if she had wrecked on the Denver Rio Grande Western Railroad, they would have just cut her off. Said, fuck it, let's go, she's done. But instead, because she was being leased to the Colorado and Southern, they were like, what the fuck, man? You trashed our engine, you have to rebuild this thing. And it was such kind of one of those situations, what in the fuck? So yeah, it was one of those locomotive situations where it actually was rather traumatic, because the locomotive was running light back down Kenosha Pass, because she had actually just recently cut off from helper service, which is one of her assigned duties. Was one of her assigned duties on the Denver Rio Grande Western, which is kind of interesting. But interestingly enough, when she derailed, was running light, she was going about 40 miles an hour. But keep in mind, I'm only going about 20 miles an hour, and you can kind of see these curves on this line here, which is not 100% accurate, but it's one of the, it's the situation where it's whoop, ow, 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 you're bouncing around the cab there. So hitting that curve at 40 miles an hour, say it's this curve. If we hit this at 40 miles an hour, we'd be in the ditch there. We wouldn't be in the river. And that's kind of what happened with 346. 346 had basically derailed because she had gone into the ditch and kind of jumped, she was traveling at 40 miles an hour downhill with the tailwind and all that kind of stuff. It was not exactly ideal. So when 346 derailed, and the engineer was killed on impact anyway, or like was killed in the wreck. I don't know if he was killed on impact or if he was killed like later on, like serious injuries or something like that. But he's actually buried not far from, I want to say, the Colorado Railroad Museum, which is kind of interesting too. Or somewhere like it's like buried like somewhere not far from where, like, it's one of those things where it's like he's kind of respected now by members of the Railroads Online community because of a particular song. A song I have even used on some of my videos. Smells Like Kenosha, which is an inside joke from Heist, a YouTuber that is pretty well liked within the narrow gauge community. And it just so happens that the song "Smells Like Kenosha" was the result, was kind of an inside joke about the wreck of 346. Now, I'm sure some people are yelling, like, "Oh, you shouldn't make fun of that, somebody died!" Well, the dude was drunk and he was the one that caused it, which, granted, yes, you don't really, like, blame, like, and yes, he did that in the family, but, like, you gotta admit, like, the absurdity of, like, how that happened is really kind of funny, to some extent. But yeah, like, the 346 was saved, ironically, because of a wreck, and that's not the only time that's occurred in real life. Ironically, in scene preservation, a lot of times the reason the locomotive is saved from the scrapper storage is because of either a wreck or another use that the locomotive was under during the scrapping of all the other sister classes. Great example of this is Norfolk and Western 611. Norfolk and Western 611 was never scrapped, specifically because she had gotten into a wreck in 1950, just days, like during the final days of steam on the Norfolk and Western. She ended up getting into a wreck in a similar way. She went too fast around a curve and jumped the tracks. Now, the Norfolk and Western was decided to replace the locomotive's boiler around that time so they could keep running her, which was one of the main reasons that. And as a result, by the time the scene was being scrapped, she was probably the newest engine on the roster in terms of her condition. So the Norfolk Western, rather than scrapping her, decided to donate her to a museum, and that's how she was saved. She's the only one J in her. Like, keep in mind, the Norfolk Western only has one of the big three left in existence. The J's, the A's, and the Y's only have one locomotive of their class surviving to this day. The only other locomotive of the Norfolk and Western steam fleet that I know of that is still preserved to this day is the Norfolk and Western's Mastodons, the 475 in particular, over at Strasbourg. There's actually two of those still around. And I'm not sure if the other one's still, like, how good condition the other one is. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, the Norfolk and Western didn't really have a lot of steam locomotives left in their fleet. Another particular story of kind of a similar situation of how these locomotives would often get saved in just the weirdest situation, ironically, again, comes from the Norfolk and Western 1218. Norfolk and Western 1218 was saved because she was a stationary boiler for the Roanoke shops. So she was actually being used as a stationary boiler well after the steam era ended, which was kind of interesting. And then you got even crazier stories off in steam preservation, such as the case of the Nickel Plate Road 765. Nickel Plate Road 765 was saved simply because it was just a mix-up with how it was like planned. Are we on level track here? Oh, we're on level track here. Okay. She wasn't actually supposed to be the locomotive donated to Fort Wayne. Her sister, 767, was actually the planned locomotive to be donated to the city of Fort Wayne. Whoopsie. But due to a mix-up in terms of all that kind of stuff and whatnot, 765 ended up being the one that was saved But on the books of the nickel plate road's roster system and everything, she's claimed to be scrapped. That's the interesting bit. She's reportedly scrapped on the books of the nickel plate road, but in reality, she's the one that was ended up saving. And that's just because, and there's a whole story about this as well. It's actually a very interesting story. I would suggest you actually look it up, because the Fort Wayne Historical Society, Railroad Historical Society, actually kind of does a great job kind of describing this in several places. But it's one of those things where it's like legit, like, what in the fuck? Ironically, one locomotive in my city, the Frisco 1522. She was actually a very interesting case of steam preservation, in that she was saved simply because the Frisco Railroad wanted to save her. Very rarely do you see a railroad in the 1950s doing the effort that the Frisco did in terms of like preserving their steam fleet. The 1522 was preserved in was basically donated to the St. Louis Museum of Transportation in 1959. She had been retired in 1951, and the Frisco shops actually did some work on her prior to her donation. They actually removed the asbestos off her boiler, which is a very rare thing in terms of steam preservation. Most steam locomotives that are preserved in the United States and around the world actually still have their asbestos lining, or their asbestos insulation on them. There's a lot of cases where when they're going in to restore a steam locomotive, they actually have to go in with like hazmat suits and remove the asbestos lining. Because many of these locomotives are like, they did not really like, they just gave them to them straight up, like without any work on them. And that was kind of the interesting thing about the Frisco Railroad when they donated the 1522. They decided to go out and say like, hey, let's get this all dolled up and prettied up for this museum. Because if you actually look at pictures of the 1522 originally, prior to her being donated to the Museum of Transportation in 1959, she actually has a doghouse tender. Today, she doesn't have her doghouse tender, instead having her standard like regular tender. And that tender, the doghouse, I believe, was removed sometime during her like when the Frisco shops were doing work on her. Which again is a particular significant thing for the Frisco shops to do, to donate a locomotive. Again, look over at like other locomotives in the Frisco fleet that are other locomotives in like in restoration and operation all around the world. I mean, the Frisco Railroad did some interesting work to just restore that locomotive for the hometown railroad. Oh. Alright, looks like we'll be holding at the nearby town here at the signal. Or not the signal, the siding, because we got another train in our way. And we're almost to the finish line here, boys. I've been talking for a while now. There it is. Ah! Mile out, eh? Alright. Zoom in! Yoink. Oh, we're slowing significantly here. What the hell happened? Oh, I know what happened. Pump it. Alright, so we're climbing the grade now, and we're kind of slowing because of the hill here. But, yeah. Finally making it. Oh, look, we're crossing. Whee! That whistle is not great. Come on, buddy, you can do it. She is a very interesting... Well, the Colorado and Southern were a very interesting railroad, honestly, gotta admit. This actually might be a good screenshot. Maybe not. Maybe not there anyway. Oh, hey, a town. There we go. I was looking for the bell button. Another crossing up here, too. There we go. We got it. I guess not. Oh, the crossing's on that side, so you don't need to worry about that one. Boiler! There's a water tower up ahead. Alright. Oh, we got 90% water in the boiler. 95 actually, we're good. Alright, full rag, we're good to go. How long am I recording for? Well, 26 minutes, that's not too bad. We made it halfway up the hill. Come on, buddy! You can do it! Well, to be fair, we don't have a lot of boiler pressure here. Is that a canal or is that a viaduct or something? I don't know what this is. What is that? Coming up to another crossing up here. There we go. That's good enough. Climbing a 3% grade up into the town. Man, we're climbing. Water! There's a good shot. I'm trying to get a good shot of this for the thumbnail, but I don't know if I can do that. Well, we'll try it later. Ah! More water! Coming up to the crossing again. Sluice gate. Okay, coming up. Our station stop is going to be at 35, so we're kind of early here. We managed to make it on time here today. Still not going to make the points here, though. Oh, dear God, here's the station. Whee! We pulled the brakes too soon. Fuck. Oh, the other train hasn't even shown up here. Well, we'll have to stop at the signal here to let him pass. Alright. So we're waiting here. I guess just load up passengers. We're a bit early. Alright. So where's the other guy? He should be down here soon. Oh, there he is. No. Oh, there he is. Here he comes. Oh, he's sitting. So this is the guy we're waiting for, eh? Alright, so he's just sitting there. Well, this gives us time to build up our boiler pressure again. It's been a while since I looked around here. Alright. Build up the fire a little bit. That's good. And put some water in there as well. Make sure we're good to go. Now on a short train here. Alright, that's enough. Oh, I need to put the water. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I need to put the reverser up high too. There you go. That'll do. You should be moving soon, right? Is he supposed to... We're supposed to meet. Interesting. So we're also supposed to go up these switchbacks here, which is going to be interesting to say the least. We got street running too, I just noticed that. Kind of. Not really, but you know. Love now. Team Donkey! Donkey! Well, that's a pretty cool shot. I like this. That's a really cool view. I like that. I need to recreate this in my own route. That's really cool. I like the Main Street view of that. That'll be kind of a cool shot too. Right there. Alright. So he's waiting. Put the depot there. He's gonna... Okay, I see now. We're supposed to go up that way and then down. And then up. We go all the way to the city. Yeesh. That's gonna be a long trip. Oh, I didn't even notice the crossing sign's a little crooked there. Just a little, not by much. Okay, we're doing okay. And there goes the safety. The safety's popping a little bit. Alright. We've waited here. It's going to be a bit because we are way ahead of schedule here. Got another guy sitting here. What number are you? 63? 63. Huh. Cool. Now we came in way early. I mean, this guy's not even ready to go yet. Let me make sure the switches are lined. He should... Yeah, he's lined for the other track there. Good. He's clear all the way through. We're not blocking the signal, so that's good. Yeah. It'll be a bit. We got here way early. Way early. Honestly. I'm a little surprised we did. Last couple of times I've tried this scenario, I've been crawling up the hill the entire time. But yeah, we looks like we made it on time. Alright, guys. So... Oh, fuck. It instantly starts stalling. Alright, no, what we're doing. Just barely, though. Holy fuck.
Oh, that's why.
That explains it. I was running at like I was running with the reverser at 70. I drained my boiler pressure there. Anyway, well, we're back, and we're now going over the switchbacks here. Time to climb. This is gonna be an interesting run. This is gonna be the end. Oop. Alright, we need water. Alright, stop. Whoop! Boink! Alright, are we clear to switch back there? Yeah, we are. Just barely, though. And we're lying correctly, correct? He is still switching out there. Holy shit. What? I'm just saying. Alright, we're waiting. Clear. I get the reverse reset here. Let's go. Brakes off. Throttle open. If I can push it. Come on, push! Oh, we're waiting the brakes to come off here. There we go. Got it. Oh, we're already at 17 miles an hour. My God. My lord, sir. We're doing okay, though. We're okay. Keep her flying up the hill. It's like... what the hell? Ah, we're speeding! Make sure we're lying for that switch back there. No, we're not. Stop! Oh, fuck. My lord. I keep forgetting the blood for the crossings up here. Fucking hell. Fly! Are we gonna make it? We might make it. 44? 44. Yeah, we're good. We're traveling up the grade, travel up the grade. There's a city down there. I love operating some switchbacks, honestly. Kind of ridiculous to do that, but you know. This episode's going to be quite nice, honestly, I gotta admit. Reduce reg. Coming up to the top of the grade here. I'm a little surprised it's only a 3.2% grade here. Holy crap. And yet we're flying up the hill here too, which is nice. There's a city down there. Blackhawk, eh? That's the name of the city? Oh, there's a turntable down there. I didn't even notice that. That's cool. I wonder if the scenario was done a little differently, you would be able to turn the train around. Come on, climb the hill. Round the brakes. Holy crap! This, wow, that looks spindly as hell. Yeah, I don't want to die on this bridge. What the hell? My God, sir. Can you make that look any more spindly? It looks like toothpicks. I hear squeak on the wheels. Oh, I see what they... Okay, well,
Oh, didn't I get the... Oh, yeah, I did, didn't I? I got the old-timey rolling stock pack, too, for this route.
I might actually get a couple more things for this route. I haven't done a lot with this over the years. Okay, that's enough! Okay, we're coming up to the top of the grade here. We need to make sure we don't run into the buffers and we don't run headlong into the fucking, like, switch. Wow, you can see how high we got in just a short span of time here. Dude, that's insane. That's the track we just came down on down there. And now we're all the way up here. We're almost to the top of the mountain. Easy does it. Alright, throttle off. Kind of use the coasting brakes. And stopped. Good job. We are again early. Alright, I hear another train down there. What's he doing? Yeah, you can see how high we got up here. Because that's the track we originally came from, right down there. Oh, hello. Alright, ready to go. Now, we came down from this track. Where's the... There he is! There's a couple of freight cars down there. Okay. Alright, throw the switch and we'll be on our way. Alright. Alright. Let me switch in up here. We need water in the boiler, that's for damn sure. Open the bag, go forward. Fly. Fly, my little friend, fly.
Dear Lord.
This is the first time I've actually completed the scenario with any semblance of points. Well, actually, I've never completed the scenario in general, so can't really complain about that. Still climbing. I might be able to do this scenario on time, like with a decent timing schedule on enough, honestly. It's doable, that's for damn sure. Oh god, we're already at 20 miles an hour. Fucking Christ. The train is a monster. That's enough water in the boiler. There you go, 90%. There we go, let's go. Whee! There's the track down there again. Holy crap, we are... What is this grade? 2.5? There's no way this is 2.5. Then again, I'm so used to Railroads Online and their janky track construction tools that it's like... It feels like it's much steeper than it actually is. Ah, we're speeding again. Stop! Oh, here comes Canyon. Over here. Man, that looks tight as fuck. Whee! Looks like an LG, looks like a train set, like a toy train set. Something you get from like LGB models or something like that. That's what that looked like. Oh, here's that depot. Oh, here's that depot. Time in the grid. There we go. Holy crap! I never get tired of seeing how high we get from these runs. Like, there's the city down there. That's Blackhawk we just came from. And we're all the way up here. That's incredible. What's our ETA? 54 and we're supposed to be there at 50. What the why are we speeding? We're flying. You can do it! Little engine that could. My lord, you'd probably need a little bit more weight behind you, sir. Oh, look at the cab wiggling. Yeah, I'm getting giddy here, boys. Whee! Pop my head out the window. Hello! Yeah, there's the town down there. I don't know how high we got out of this run. My lord. At least the trains are on time. Oh, we're speeding again. So I'm gonna make it with negative points, but oh well, that's fine. Oh, safeties have gone off. Which means we can put water in the boiler. Barrel. How much further are we got here? 1.5 miles. 1.25 miles. Jesus H. Christ. Slow her down, boy. Got like a 20 miles an hour up here. We don't need that. City down there. That's impressive. 91, we're good there. I think I can turn off the blower here. I'm fine with that. We don't need the blower on anymore. We're good. We can actually reduce the reverser too if we needed to. We've made it! There's the town right up there. I can now hear the locals stack talk a little bit. Don't have to do another canning here. The fact that you can go around this route at 20 miles an hour and yet the speed limit is 18 miles an hour. That's the weird thing about this route. I never knew that, but I've always kind of messed around with it. Outpost 39. How much further we got? Quarter mile. Not a quarter mile. That's like 3/4 of a mile. Where is Central City? We're coming up to it. I'm assuming that's Central City. Yeah, that's Central City. There's another spindly ass little trestle there. Holy crap. At least they have an abutment. Abutment. We need more water. Rock. Ow! I hit my head on the rock. Here we come. It's a wonder how railroads even, like... It's a wonder how people even drove up this hill in these areas here back in the day. Cars nowadays would be able to tackle these roads no problem, but back then, my lord. I don't need more coal. I'm putting out enough fire as is. Coming up to the grade. Coming up to the final stop here, actually. Quarter mile. What am I doing? Doing okay. We're doing okay. We made it right on time, too. We're a little early. About 2 minutes early. Last whistle. South track, eh? We're on the south track line? Good, good, good. Alrighty. Woohoo! We made it. Made it to Central City on time. Got a signal up there too to wait for. Even though that's the end of the track. Gotta make sure I pay the... Oh, hello. I gotta take a screenshot of this particular section. This is my thumbnail. There you go. I didn't even notice the bell was on the sand dome there. There you go. Load them up. There we go. Got it. There's my thumbnail. Train's not off the switch, but that's fine. You don't need to be perfect, you know? There goes the safeties again. Eesh. It's a good thing I turned off the blower on that locomotive. We're blowing the safeties. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Like and comment down below. Subscribe if you guys want more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.